Smashing, starting again.
Here we go, Chris. So according to you got November, Merry Christmas on receiver.
Yeah, 1989.
Yeah.
It's Merry Christmas. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Around that time, we weren't doing a lot, Chris. Really, was sort of we were just playing it anywhere and everywhere. Really, around that time, we haven't got that much going for us. I mean, well, the thing is, Merry Christmas got released every year anyway. So it was not released; it was available every year.
That's right. Anyway. It was re-promoted. That's
but it was. Yeah, it was available every year anyway.
Yeah,
really.
It's exactly the same as the other releases, just a different label. But the CD's got far, far away on the backside as well.
Yeah.
So
I think the receiver was something to do with Colin Newman and Jim. I think.
I think it was, yes, judging by the result. The other sort of thing that was happening in '89, which is what we're starting off with, was Dave and Nod. Blessings in Disguise.
Well, what it was, Ace was doing some recordings, and he just asked. I don't know who thought of that song. It's a great song anyway.
Yeah.
And just asked. I think he just asked not to, because we were doing nothing, and he just asked not to come along and sing on it. And
were you involved with any of the others?
No. It's before me and H started doing anything together.
Yeah.
Around that time, I was doing some work with Steve McNerney, who was with the Pleasers.
Yes,
Like a bit. I was doing some recordings with him.
Yeah.
What
happened to those? Do you know?
I got no idea. Nothing was ever came. I mean, it was great because EMI, gave us like a day in the studio, sort of thing. And we just went in and we just recorded about 4 or 5 songs. It'd be nice to actually hear them again. And the producer at EMI then, he wanted me to do some session work for him.
Yeah. We'll have to try and get in touch with him. Drop me a line with his name, and we'll try and get.
I have got his email address, Chris. I'll send me an email after to remind me, and I'll forward all the things. Stuff.
Dave seemed to be doing all sorts of things at that time, wasn't he? Was it Ruby Turner and Karen McKee and people like that?
I think that was through Bob Lamb, who got the studio. Because through Bob,
Yeah, because it's produced by Bob Lamb. I always liked that. I always thought it was a good single. He got slated on. It was the equivalent of the thing with "I'll Give You Five" Jukebox Jury.
That's right. Whatever. And I think it had some good comments about it, but I don't know. The usual thing. If it you need promotion, that kind of thing, and
Well, that's pretty much it for. And in 1990, Merry Christmas came out. So we're not a great deal in 1990. What were you doing then? Anything?
Well, not really. I think.
Were you in the antiques then?
Sorry.
Were you doing your antiques then?
Yes, I think. Yeah. I was from 85 to about 90. I was doing the antiques.
Yeah. What was your speciality? What was your thing?
Jewelry.
Really?
There's jewelry, antique jewelry mainly. The thing is, antique dealers really, they just prey on people's mistakes. It's incredible what people. You can't expect everything. I wouldn't know. Looking at stuff, I wouldn't know. But I remember she bought some stuff once, and it was just a buffet. There's a little box of stuff, and the woman wanted £6 for it. It was just bits of jewelry, and of course, like she saw this, and goes, "Oh, I'll have that." But there was an emerald in there, and she got 600 quid for it. It's people who don't, it's just ignorance. People don't, you can't expect them to know. It's like, I don't know if you ever saw it on the Antiques Roadshow. It's been some years ago now. Some people took something that they used to keep the kitchen door open with. It was like a little statue. and somebody must have mentioned something to it, and they took it along to the Antique Roadshow, and whoever it was who they saw freaked out. You know, when he saw it, he said, "Well, where'd you get this from?" He said, "I can't remember where they said they got it." He said, "But we used to use it to keep the kitchen door open."
No, it's
It
mad.
was some,
It is.
it was some
What
special
one
thing.
man's trade. It's one man's treasure and all that sort of stuff in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was 30 grand they got for it.
Yeah.
But people don't know. I mean, you can't expect people to know,
No,
you know. I mean,
no.
some of, you know, you look at it, I mean, sometimes you look at things like that's a pile of crap, but it's like something ridiculous, you know, unless you know.
It's like your trousers and waistcoat, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's like your trousers and waistcoat.
Yeah,
I
yeah. Quite funny that. But at least it cleaned it up with sorry, with Mick and Pam though, because like I think it's when I had some people around my place, and some of them must have been her in some relation, and that was it. And I just because Laurie's been in touch, hasn't she?
everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody.
Laurie made it.
Yeah.
Laurie
Oh
made
no,
it.
I've spoken to her.
Yeah.
Everybody. It was like a reunion sort of thing, talking
Yeah.
about it and stuff. They're going to look for other things as well. They
Yeah,
could be.
but I'll tell you what, I mean, yes, you never think at the time, I wish I could get, I think I dumped a lot of it on Oxfam, at Oxfam, you know, they probably threw it away, you know.
So there's some poor little kids walking around in 3-inch platforms and a
That's it.
waistcoat.
And yeah, sort of like some satin trousers or something like that, but anyway.
Terrible. Anyway, right, 1991, a busy year for you in some ways. But sort of a sad year. You had a Wall of Hits compilation album out.
Yeah.
It was just another compilation for you, really.
Yeah, but that was an RCA, wasn't it? That was the one that was an RCA.
This one was Polydor, I think. Bear with me.
Oh, that one, okay.
I think.
Oh no, I'm thinking the Slade collection was RCA.
Yeah, that's right. This one was on Polydor. That's mine. Yeah, that one was Polydor. But again, more compilations for you. Certainly, so they got the money out of you, Don.
What's that? Sorry.
They got the money out of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was all right. I mean, so stuff. I mean, when Polydor wanted to do a new deal, but they wanted a single.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how Wall of Hits, Radio Wall of Sound came out. Really, you know.
Yeah. But before that was the 25th anniversary at Warsaw. You got any memories of that?
That was a great night. That was actually. That was a good night. I mean, Nod was in a bit of a strop that night, you know, for some reason.
Yeah.
And because everybody was trying to get us to go on set, and he wouldn't do it. You know, he kept on. It was really, really strange. It was. He was really shouting and saying, "I knew this would happen" and stuff like that. You know, and I mean, eventually we got up and we just did a rock song, you know, "Johnny Be Good" or something like that, and then he took his guitar off, and that was it. You know, but the thing was, I was sent to the hotel up that way. Yeah. And he came back after having a drink. He was with Sue then, and he was great after. We had a great night. Me and him had a great night, you know, sort of thing. So it was just a weird thing. It was like as if the Slade thing, he finished with it, and that was it, basically.
Yeah.
That's what it was in a nutshell, Chris.
I came and saw you and Dave were at the museum, weren't you, at the lunchtime?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
We were sent down. Me and another constable were sent down to check you out.
Really?
Yeah. If you look on
the
just to make sure everything was okay, if you look on the film, there's BBC footage, and right at the beginning, you see two very tall blokes with very short hair avoiding the cameras, and that's my mate Steve.
Oh, have you ain't got that, have you, Chris?
It's on the it's bound to be on the web somewhere on the internet.
Okay, well, I'll look for that.
And then on the evening, we were on van patrol over in Aldridge, which came under the division, and the Warsaw van, because you know there was a little bit of trouble, wasn't there? There, do you remember that?
Where?
At the town hall.
What was that about now?
Well, as far as I'll tell you, this is my version. Other people will tell you it was a full-blown riot and all the rest of it. But we were sitting in this van in Aldridge, and they said, Walsall and Will and all are busy. Can you go over to the town hall because it's getting a bit restless? So we have a bimble over, and our inspector, who was, what year was this? 91. He was he'd done his 30 years, but he was still an inspector. He must have upset somebody. Went in on his own, and he was sort of like 6'4", was taller than me. Peacock walked in and walked out, opened the van door, and he said, "Storming a kid teacup. Let's go and get some chips." And that was it.
Okay. I really don't know, mate. I can honestly say I don't really. Something must have happened, but we were unaware of, or it was kept from us.
Yeah,
you know,
that was the police action that night.
You weren't Dave Buell, was it? But now I don't know. But it was. But as I said, not had a bit of a funny that night. But afterwards at the hotel, it was great.
Yeah,
it was like it was almost like that. Anything to do with Slade, he didn't want to know.
Do you think? I know it's a what if, but if it had gone well and Nodder said this is fantastic, when he felt it all again, and he sort of okay, let's do come on, feel the noise.
Well, I think that's what people were hoping actually.
Yeah.
But like he kept on saying, like when Malcolm said about people want you to get up, sort of thing. He says, "I knew this would happen. I told you." And he really had a real strop on Nod, did. And and like I said, he didn't want to get up at all. He was basically forced to get up. And like I said, he did an old rock thing, and then he took, as soon as we finished, he took his guitar off and walked off. And there you go.
Oh well.
But like I said, at the hotel afterwards where I was staying, him and Sue came. I mean, he was just like not as the old not that
the old days.
Yeah.
Funny. Right then, Radio Wall of Hit sound. Sorry.
Well, that was basically that was Jim's thing. Chris, Jim and that. I think I did a couple of drum things on it, but nothing. But basically, that was Jim's thing.
Yeah,
he'd done that. And when what it was when Polydor wanted to release a hits thing, they wanted to
promote it.
They wanted a single.
Yeah,
that's when Radio Wall of Sound.
Yeah, it's the one with Mike Reed, isn't it? And
that's it. Well, do you imagine do that little feature thing as like a DJ on it?
Yeah. But it was released on all the formats. Again, it got a Dave Hill and Bill Hunt B-side.
B-side, yeah.
Lay Your Love on the Line.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This for the collectors, 12-inch. That'll come on, feel the noise on as well.
Yeah.
You get value for money, and then they also did the CD. And that's the promo one. That's for the collectors. That's the promo
one. Nice one.
It's just, yeah.
There's good things to have, though. But as I said, because Radio Wall of Sounds, and that's what they wanted, and that's how the same again, Universe.
Oh, God, yeah.
That was already all done. The same thing already all done.
All sorts, again, 12-inch ones. The Dave Hill, Bill Hunt B-side.
They kept on wanting something, because he never had anything in the 70s,
Yeah. Did you play on those, the Dave Hill, the ones that Dave and Bill Hunt wrote?
No, I didn't. That was Bob Lamb, whose studio they used, because he was the drummer with Steve Gibbons' band.
Right, and he was the guy who played on that's right. He also played it on The Blessings in Disguise.
That's right, yeah.
So basically, the B-sides of the last two singles were Blessings in Disguise records, weren't they? If you was apart from the fact that
the B-sides were,
like
Wall of Sound and Universe were basically Jim, really, and obviously Nod's vocal.
Yeah, you played on Universe though in Wall of Sound, yeah.
only little bits. I didn't play on the whole thing. They're basically already all done, you know. And that's when, as I said, Polydor wanted a couple of singles, and
Yeah.
and they were put forward. But it was basically going to be Jim solo stuff.
Right. Because the CD, it's got Universe on, Red Hot, Gypsy Road Dog, and Merry Christmas, everybody. So it's a good. It's again taking the what's it?
Yeah.
And again for the collectors, that's your promo one with the letter and everything.
Oh, I've never seen that before, Chris.
Yeah, on the last Wednesday in October 1971, 4 black country lads climbed into their Vauxhall Velox and drove down the M1 from Wolverhampton to London.
The Vauxhall, I remember that. The Vauxhall Velox, yeah.
Yeah. They went to the Edwards Hotel off Trade Street, £4 a night.
How much?
£4 a night, the hotel was.
Yeah.
Then you went to Top of the Pop.
It was a good place, that was, because they had a bar there, and it was close to a lot of cheap restaurants.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it was great for us. That was.
Yeah. But it's just weird, you know. That's what they decided to promote it.
I've never seen that. But yeah.
That's my pension.
I mean, you know, as I said, what you put on the end, it was basically the end of the original lineup, as people know it then, really.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, not didn't want to do it anymore. You know, he'd had enough, and he'd been offered other things, and you can imagine, like he said, he's give his all for all those years, and he wanted to try new things. You know, so
how did you feel about it, Don?
Well, I mean. I thought, but the thing is, I just went along with him because I thought, well, you know, there's no you're trying to force him, because when Noel gets a strop on, he never lets it go, you know, and that was it basically. I thought, you know, I mean, I was just prepared, and that's when Dave asked me about forming the new Slade sort of thing, you know. And I thought, well, that might as well. We've still got some life in it, you know. So let's try. Because what we'd also done is, like, really, because Len had approached H, and then H said, well, Don's interested. He said, well, that's even better with 2 originals in the lineup. And Len was great. You know, so this
is Len Tucky, isn't it?
Len Tucky, like Susie's ex-husband. Susie Watter's ex-husband. And that's what he wanted to do. He got us lots of work in Europe, you know. And he did with what we did. We had the Australian tour with Len, and that was great. We were there for about 6 weeks, I think. You know, and that was great. That was great. That was. It was really.
Was there any ever talk of you, Jim, and Dave getting together?
Well, I think H went to see Chaz.
Right.
For a bit of advice, and Chaz said, well, I can only, because he'd been with us like for a few years then, Chaz obviously said, well, I can only ever see the 4 of you, you know. Chaz was so, I can only ever see the 4 of you as I know it. He says, maybe if Jim wants to, but H1 wasn't that interested at all. So that was it really, you know. And I don't know whether Jim would have come anyway.
No,
I don't think Jim would have come anyway.
But you did it because it was sort of like a whimper more than a bang, wasn't it? I think from the fan way of looking at, you know, there was no. It was all of a sudden it just stopped, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It's like the 84, the 85 tour. You know, oh great, but no, it didn't happen. So
no, nothing happened after that. I think. Well, I think Nod had been offered a few things acting wise and stuff like that, and he obviously said, I want to try other things now. You know, I've given me all for all these years, you know, and so I just went along with him, you know, and I was doing the antique thing anyway at that time, you know, but but Len Tucky was great, because he said there's still a lot of work out there for you. You know, and there was, and it was really good as well. You know, and the thing is, like, when we were on tour, it cost a fortune, like the original band with all the equipment. But with Lens, you don't need all that, you know, because like it's all different now. Instead of the promoters can supply, obviously take your own guitars, and I'll take sticks and a foot pedal or something like that, you know. But yeah, it was all totally different. And instead of having 30 tons of equipment on the road, everything just went in suitcases.
Yeah.
You know.
Did it remind you of being back in the old days?
Sorry?
Did it remind you of being back?
It was that kind of thing, yeah. It was that kind of thing, except it was better in a way because there wasn't that sort of pressure.
No.
There wasn't that the pressure anymore,
Yeah.
and it was well organized, you know, sort of, you know, so it was no racing around all the time. It was really good, you know, really good. It was
Well, that's brilliant.
really enjoyable.
That's good. Well, I think that brings that to an end.
Yeah.
We should have some fireworks or something, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Well, you could take your top off. That'll be the thing.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. That would be good.
Yeah, that'd be the one.
Yeah. But no, it was. Yeah, but I think it was a good night that night at Walsall Town Hall.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I mean, not have got a strop on during the Town Hall thing.
Well, afterwards it was good.
Afterwards, if I think what it was anything to do with Slade, it was a no-no.
Yeah.
But afterwards, it was great. We had a great time.
Oh well.
Yeah, there you go.
C'est la vie.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that.
No problem.
I'll see you. I'm going to stop the recording and I'll see you the other side.